Hello everyone! Welcome to Untold History, the space where we discover fascinating stories that are often not found in conventional history books. In this episode, we'll embark on a journey into ancient Greece to explore an epic and little-known episode, the March of the 10,000. This tale will transport us to a time in Greek history when a group of mercenaries were caught in a deadly dilemma, forced to fight for their survival in hostile lands while desperately searching for their way back home. It is a story of resilience, cunning, and the unwavering will to return to the homeland, and one that resonates even today as an example of courage and leadership in times of crisis. The story begins in 401 BC, in a period of great upheaval within the Persian Empire. An ambitious Persian prince, Cyrus the Younger, decides to challenge his older brother Artaxerxes II for the throne of the empire. To strengthen his army and ensure his success, Cyrus calls on a contingent of Greek mercenaries, a group of experienced soldiers known for their skill in combat. This army, consisting of approximately 10,000 men, was recruited under the promise of wealth and glory, and accepted the mission with enthusiasm, not foreseeing the perilous journey that awaited them. These soldiers, who would go down in history as the 10,000, began their march into the heart of the Persian Empire in hopes of securing a quick victory for Cyrus. However, fate had other plans. The campaign reached its climax at the Battle of Cunaxa, near the Euphrates River, where Cyrus' forces clashed with those of his brother Artaxerxes. Although the 10,000 demonstrated their prowess in battle and managed to inflict significant casualties on the enemy, Cyrus' death on the battlefield radically changed the situation. The prince's death meant not only the defeat of his cause, but also the annulment of previous agreements. The Greek mercenaries, who had hitherto fought for a cause, suddenly found themselves alone in hostile territory, surrounded by enemies and without a leader to guide them. Without Cyrus backing and with the Persian army now against them, the 10,000 were left in dire straits. To make matters worse, the Persians, through deception, managed to capture several of the Greek generals during what was supposed to be a negotiation. These generals were brutally executed, leaving the mercenary army in a state of chaos and confusion. It was clear that, without firm leadership and a clear plan, the chances of survival were minimal. It is at this crucial point that the 10,000 demonstrated their strength and their ability to adapt to the most adverse circumstances. Faced with the loss of their leaders, the Greek soldiers reorganized and elected new generals to take charge of their destiny. Among them, the figure of Xenophon stands out, a disciple of Socrates who was among the mercenaries and who, although he was not a general at the beginning of the expedition, emerged as one of the most influential leaders during the retreat. Under his leadership and that of 8 other generals, the Greek army began what would become known as the March of the 10,000, an epic odyssey of endurance, ingenuity, and survival. The objective was clear: to return to Greece. However, the route was fraught with almost insurmountable challenges. 10,000 were located deep within the Persian Empire, in an unknown and hostile region. They had to traverse mountains, deserts, and rivers, facing not only the elements but also the local tribes who saw in the mercenaries a threat or, at best, an opportunity to gain riches through ambushes and attacks. Lack of supplies was another constant problem. The Greeks had to ration food and find resources in an inhospitable environment, which often forced them to loot local villages in order to survive. The journey began in what is now Iraq, and took them through the treacherous mountains of Armenia. Here, extreme temperatures and rugged terrain tested the soldiers' physical and mental endurance. However, despite the adversities, discipline among the 10,000 was maintained thanks to the effective leadership of their new generals. One of the most memorable moments of the march is when, after weeks of hardship and fighting, the soldiers reached a mountain overlooking the Black Sea. This was a moment of deep emotion for the Greeks, as the sea represented proximity to their home and the real possibility of escaping the clutches of the Persian Empire. Seeing the sea, the soldiers shouted, "Thalassa! Thalassa!" The sea! The sea, in what has become one of the most iconic scenes in ancient military history. This cry symbolizes not only the relief and hope of the 10,000, but also the culmination of their arduous and perilous journey. However, although they had reached the Black Sea, the 10,000 march was not over. They had yet to reach a Greek city from which they could be evacuated by sea. This last leg of his journey was filled with new challenges, including the betrayal of some allies and the constant threat of new Persian attacks. Through it all, the Greeks managed to reach the city of Trapezunt, modern-day Trabzon in Turkey, where they eventually found ships that would take them back home. The return of the 10,000 to Greece was greeted with amazement and admiration. His story quickly became legend, a symbol of the tenacity and courage of the Greek soldier. This event not only demonstrated the military skill and resilience of these mercenaries, but also underlined the importance of leadership in times of crisis. Xenophon, in particular, emerged as a key figure whose ability to inspire and guide his companions was crucial to the expedition's success. On his return to Athens, he devoted himself to writing the Anabasis, a detailed chronicle of the march, which has survived to the present day and remains one of the most important sources for understanding this period of history. In addition, the March of the 10,000 had important political and military repercussions. Upon returning to Greece, the mercenaries brought with them not only stories of their exploits, but also a thorough knowledge of the Persian territory and its weaknesses. This knowledge would be used years later by Alexander the Great, who used the lessons learned in his own campaign to conquer the Persian Empire. Thus, the journey of the 10,000 was not only a feat of survival, but also an event that influenced the course of Western history. At its heart, this is a story of hope and perseverance. It is a story that reminds us that, even when all seems lost, there is always the possibility of finding a way out, of overcoming adversity and of returning home. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of the most epic and fascinating tales in ancient history. If you liked this episode, we invite you to leave your comments and share the video so that more people can know this incredible story. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. See you in the next episode of Untold Story.